Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice.
Pretty voice.
Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss.
A boss.
Join us each week for business owner strategies and success with your hosts Ann Ganguzza and Gabrielle Nistico, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss. A VOBoss.
A VOBoss.
A VOBoss.
Welcome, everybody, to the VOBoss podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, along with my VOBoss bestie, awesomeness, Gabrielle Nistico. Hey, Gabby.
Hi, Ann.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired of playing therapist, though.
Oh, no.
I feel like...
I get that. But why are you playing therapist?
Well, I feel like, that's the funny thing about being a voiceover coach. We play therapist an awful lot. I think probably more than people realize.
Well, yeah, sometimes we do.
Because there's a whole, brain element to what we do as performers.
Oh, my goodness. Gabby. It's okay because Gabby, we've been through it ourselves, I would imagine. At least I remember myself going through there's a lot of like mental game to this game.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of people, when they first get into the industry, it's a lot of confidence issues.
Yeah, there are. And I had a woman recently who said to me, "Why me?" And I was a little perplexed. I was like, well, what do you mean, why you? And she went on to say, why would an agent or a client or, anybody hire me? I'm not different. I'm not particularly special. I don't have a really unique voice. Why would they want to work with me? And I was like, whoa, that is a great question. But at the same time, it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy, potentially.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And that's something you need to watch out for.
Big time.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's very common. And I certainly am not one to say, no, goodness, no, this never happens. Because it happens, I think, to all of us, right? When we first enter into a field, not necessarily just because we are selling a personal brand. I think it makes it more obvious. But I think anything that you start that's new, an industry that you get into and you're not sure of it, you're not sure quite how it works, how it operates, and especially when you're selling something so personal as your voice, I can imagine that the questions are, okay, so how do I differentiate myself? Which is a different question than why would anybody want to hire me?
Exactly. There's a difference between how do I make myself marketable? How do I make my services appealing? How do I present my voice, my services, my company versus why?
Yeah.
My answer to her, honestly, was why not you?
Right.
What's wrong with you that they wouldn't want to work with you? But at the same time, you do realize this is very much the actor's lament. This is that weird ingrained thing in us that goes, I'm no good and I'm never going to make it and nobody's going to hire me.
And if you audition and you're not hitting any of your auditions, of course, that becomes, I think, Gabby, that becomes the biggest mind game of the industry, right? When you're auditioning, you're not getting anything, and then boom, you just give up. I had somebody like just the other day who wrote me, a student that wrote me and said, I'm so frustrated and I had to go back and get a part-time job because it's just not working out for me. And I was so sad. I was so sad to see that because this talent was amazing, an amazing talent. And I think so many people give up too soon. And I understand, yes, there's financial requirements, right? But before you go into this, industry or any industry, I would hope that you have financial, I always call it the financial cushions, put in place so that you can explore a new opportunity without, all of a sudden not being able to pay the mortgage. I mean, that just, I wouldn't want people to give up so soon because it is a marathon, not a sprint.
So many people go into this and they're enthusiastic and they have all of these hopes and these dreams and they're committed. But somewhere in all of that, they believe they're going to succeed and they're going to succeed rapidly. Rarely do we account for what if I don't succeed rapidly? What if it takes more time than I thought it would? Or what if I falter? What if I need more training? What if?
Yeah. And then it becomes something that they're manifesting out there that is uncertainty and possibly, their confidence is faltering.
Yeah.
And I think that is absolutely readable by a market that is purchasing. So I think there's a fine line there. You got to be real careful about what question you're asking yourself, as we alluded to earlier. Why not you? I think is a better question than why me. Absolutely, because it reframes everything. And I think, Gabby, a long time ago, I did a course on money blocks. And it's almost the same kind of a thing where you start with almost the negative side of I'm not deserving, I'm not worthy. And that's what happens. You manifest that out into the universe, and it actually comes back to you exactly how you're throwing it out there.
Well, sure. But you look at all of the things that cause it, right? So one is that we compare ourselves to other people. And of course, in that comparison, we rarely focus on or put a lot of attention on people that we think are not as good as us. We put it on the people who we think are way, way, way better and far superior and far ahead of us. And that's not necessarily fair because then you're not putting yourself into a peer category. You have to look at others that are in a similar place in their voiceover journey as you are.
And then it becomes difficult even then, though, too, Gabby, because what we offer is so darn subjective, right?
Oh, I know.
Who's to say, so what voice category do I put myself in? Like, do I compare Ann Ganguzza to Gabby Nistico? Or, who do I compare myself with? And do I actually do that?
That's an interesting point. I mean, on one hand, the marketer in me says, yeah, we have to. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because if you don't understand your competitors, if you don't understand the people that are both similar and different from you in the market segment, then you will always have a really hard time defining who you are and what you do. But on the other hand,
well, I think actually,
slope.
Well, yeah, no, I think what's really good. Why do we compare? We compare so that we can get similarities and differences, right? Similarities, Gabby and Ann, female, right? Age group, we're probably in a similar age group. But so then what makes us unique from one another, right? And that might be a good place to start, not necessarily comparing because you're in such competition, but just to kind of discern what sets you apart from another talent that is also female and maybe, in that age group that you are, and how can you market yourself differently than, let's say, I look at you, how you're marketing, and say, how is Gabby marketing differently from Ann? And therefore I can say, or how is she marketing and what can I do that's similar but yet doesn't make an impact on Gabby? Honestly, if it's my business, right, I'm looking at other competition. Actively, I'm not saying, oh, let me go out there and get Gabby's, clients. That's not possible.
No, but
it's not because I don't have the same voice as Gabby. So.
But one of the things that I like to look at is why companies hire celebrities to be spokespeople. Companies don't just hire a celebrity because, ooh, it's a celebrity. They hire them because they want to align their company with that person's individual viewpoint.
Right. Brand.
And their perspective on the world. Mm-hmm. And that's an important component of this because ultimately that's part of what one of your voiceover clients is buying from you. It's your unique perspective. It's the way you view things, the way you approach things, and whether or not it lines up with what they do.
I think it can be quite a bit different from talent, obviously, to talent.
It can. I mean, look, one of the things that always cracks me up, and I think about this a lot because, marketing brain, I don't think it ever really shuts off. It doesn't know how. So I love that Capital One uses Samuel L. Jackson as a spokesperson. I love him as an actor. I think he's an amazingly talented guy.
And then Visa uses.
Visa is using,
or did use, Morgan.
That's right. Visa used Morgan Freeman. And then, okay, so hold on. We could take this bunny trail a couple places.
Oh, we could.
Alec Baldwin was doing a credit card for a bit. I think also Capital One. And
Capital One is Jennifer Garner, if I remember correctly.
She might be part of the Capital One team as well.
Yeah, she's part of Capital One.
Here's the thing that cracks me up about the alignment with Samuel L. Jackson. And every time he says, "What's in your wallet?" is that I sit there and I go, when's he going to drop the because This is how we know this guy. This is an actor who, right? Nobody's immune to this. We all know it. He's known for this boisterous, loud, opinionated, cynical viewpoint. What does it say about a credit card company?
Well, yeah, they're not messing around.
Maybe. That's part of it. But doesn't it also say that they have a little bit of a sense of humor?
Oh, yeah, probably.
That they're down to earth?
Well, yeah, and that makes people want to use them, right? Yeah. Because they're aligning with that message.
Yes. And if you look at Capital One's branding today, it's a far cry from, the old "don't leave home without it" campaigns.
Oh, yeah?
The very posh and upscale Amex viewpoint.
And we just did an episode on influencers, right? Social influencers are very much, they start with celebrities, and they could be traditional celebrities that we know and love from TV and movies, but also social media celebrities as well. So I think that, you can absolutely, if you're out there in social media and you are letting people know you and know what you stand for, that is absolutely one way that can help make you unique from your competition.
Yes, it can. But also recognize that unique doesn't mean 100% unique. You're always going to have some percentage of people that are similar.
Yeah, female.
Yeah, or that are
local age group, right?
That are but that again that are kind of in line. With
mom
this,
sounding,
with
that would be me,
message.
I guess, right?
Exactly, and that's what I mean. People go about it thinking they're going to come up with something wholly and completely original. Right. Not really.
No, but it can be something original in how you handle your employee or your how you handle your client versus how they've had their experiences prior to you, right?
Yeah.
You could be giving great customer service, and I think that's probably one of the biggest ways you can become different if people give you the chance and they become your client. Good customer service is right up there at the top of the list of how you can make yourselves unique and different from maybe their last experience.
That's a good point. There's always something. There's always some way. I mean, the actor community has long said that the one thing they don't have is you.
Bringing you to the party. That's really what people want to connect with. I mean, no matter what. And I'm telling you, there's a whole blog article in this, or another podcast actually, about American Idol. And
oh gosh,
you know how people go out on stage and they're singing, and all the time the judges are saying, "I want to hear what kind of an artist you are. Yeah. I want to hear you. Bring you to the audience. Give me a part of you. Look at me. Connect with me." And it's so funny because they say that all the time in American Idol, and that's who we connect with, the people who are very uniquely themselves and put a piece of themselves out on the stage for us, to grab onto and identify with and love. And that, I think, is exactly the same way we can do that as voiceover artists in being there for our clients, being there to help serve them. And
and they don't really care what other people think.
Yeah.
That's where the authenticness comes from. This is just me. If you've struggled with this, if this has been in your brain and you've been kind of playing this why me game, you've got to flip the script. You've got to convert it to why not me.
Because you're the person that we want to connect with.
Here, prime example. Shameless plug for two of our sponsors, right? So IPDTL, who we gush about all the time, and Voiceovers.com.
Absolutely.
Both of these companies could have easily said, well, why? Does anybody really need another connectivity? Does anybody need another casting site? That's not how this works.
Right. They were going to bring something to the table that no one else did. And they did.
Exactly. Voiceovers.com, efficient, fair, transparent, right? Totally unique approach to all of the upheaval we've been seeing in online casting in the last couple of years. And IPDTL, oh my God.
First, I'm telling you, they came to the table with ISDN, right off the bat. Receive and dial to ISDN. They've got the new SIP.
All I know is when I met Kevin 4 or 5 years ago now, however long ago it was, the first time, I was blown away hearing about the technology and the new way that he was approaching connectivity issues. If he had sat there and gone, well, why would anybody want this? Yeah. We wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't have my boss day. Yeah.
We wouldn't be connecting like this. Like we were like sitting in the same room. And so, yeah, exactly. Kevin has always been very innovative with all of the things coming to market. And if he had let his competition stop him, well, yeah, that's it. He wouldn't be here. So
exactly.
We love our sponsors. Guys, go check them out, ipdtl.com and voiceovers.com.
And for all things Boss, make sure you head over to our website, VOBoss.com. Lots of great things for you to check out, swag, merchandise, and of course, ways that you can connect with me and Anne, and options for marketing your own voiceover business.
Yes. Have a great week, guys, and why not you?
Yeah.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VOBoss with your hosts, Anne Ganguzza and Gabby Nistico. All rights reserved. Anne Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
I said the way to make your first million is to master the Iranian double pause. And I was doing a TV promo session for a company, and one of their promo producers was a Russian. And because of the way they're wired, they believe in conspiracies. And so one of the producers said to me, she said, Philip, Philip, can you just take a longer pause? And the sound engineer, Michael, said, Philip, do the Iranian double pause. And Kika just said, what is this, please? And we tried to explain to her that it was a joke. But the more we tried to explain to her it was a joke, the more she thought she was out of the loop. And that we were conspiring against her to make her a lesser promo producer. Honestly, it took us 25 minutes to calm her down.
Oh, no. Can you hear her squeaking?
Who?
Gab, my little girl. She's
is that what that was?
Yeah, she's like a little monkey.
Oh, shit.
Little monkey.
Sabrina the monkey.
Little peanut girl. Alrighty then. Here I am.
Yeah.
The one that you love. Who's your demo for? Yeah. Okay, cool. I like it. Who's your demo daddy? Who's your demo? Who's your demo mama? Oh, I just sprayed Booth Breeze. It's lovely.
Booth Breeze?
It's almost like a bidet. It's like a bidet for my booth.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't even try to bring your bidet to North Carolina. That's not happening.
It's like a bidet for my booth.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. I'm just dying now.
You okay?
Hang on.
Don't die. Don't die.
I hate when that happens.
I can't co-host if you die.
I know. Oh, my God.
Then my co is kind of useless. That doesn't work. You too can be booth fresh.
Booth bidet. With booth bidet.
Is it a whole separate apparatus like a toilet?
It's like a whole lid. It's a whole lid, and you hook it up to your water system.
But that's what I mean. Do you hook it up to your existing toilet, or is it?
No, you hook it up to existing water. Yeah.
So that's not a real bidet. It's like an overcoat for your toilet.
Yeah, but it's great. Let me tell you, it acts like a bidet. So I don't understand. So you mean the bidet, the entire toilet, or
like in Europe? Yeah.
No, this is the same damn thing in a freaking toilet seat.
Right.
But it wasn't a cheap investment. It was a few $100s.
No, I get that, but it's not the same thing as I'm sure that J. Michael has a legit bidet next to his toilet. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're saying that my bidet's not legit. You're
No.
saying that the fan. You're saying the fan and the oscillation of the heated seat and water that cleanses me is not legit.
No, all you did was pimp your toilet. There's a huge.
I totally pimped my toilet.
That's
but it's
what you
amazing.
did.
But it's amazing, Gabby. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So
I know, my little rickshaw. rickshaw, baby.
Gabby.
So
oh my
funny.
God. Oh, can I just tell you?
So funny.
3:30 in the afternoon, I started trying to get an Uber to the city, right? 3:30. The event started at 6:30. So, 3:30, I click on my Uber. 2 people come, my jersey. Oh, no, I can't go into the city. I got to pick up my son at 5. No, I can't take you. No. So 3 times. Oh, no, I can't go in. She can't go in the city. So, 3 people, and then I got a guy who was going to take me to the city.
Why didn't you just mass transit? I don't understand. Why didn't you take the train?
Because to get to I don't want to take a train. I'm all dressed up. I had hair and makeup done. I didn't want to take the train. That's gross.
I don't know. I feel like that's
what
what
I mean?
do.
No, but everybody said to me, take an Uber. Everybody said to me, take an Uber.
Well,
listen, so I finally got somebody. You gotta hear my trip. You gotta hear my trip.
Okay.
Finally,
all right.
We get in at 5:30, right? 3:30 to 5:30. It's already 2 hours because it was the marathon that day.
Right.
And even at 5:30 at night, you forget that it's not finished yet. So they closed every single entrance into Central Park. Everything was closed, but I didn't realize it, right? So that it was still going to be closed at 5:30 p.m. So we get there, we get to 8th Ave, and if I had known, they closed off 8th Ave right before we got there, right?
Oh.
So had I known that, he would have dropped me off at 8th Ave, and I would have walked across through to Columbus Circle. So anyway, I had never been there. I've been to Lincoln Center multiple times, but not to Jazz at Lincoln Center, which is a completely different building on 60th versus 67th. So we get to 8th the first time, right? And as we get up to it, they close it. And then we're like, okay, we'll just take the next left. We'll forget it. Everything was closed. We went all the way around Central Park. By the time we got around to 8th Ave again and he dropped me off, it was already 7 o'clock. So literally I got out and I'm all dressed to the nines. And I found the bicycle rickshaw and I said, can you get me to Jazz at Lincoln Center? And he didn't know where Jazz at Lincoln Center was. He's going to take me over to 67th. And I said, no, it's 60th. You have to, he goes, no, it's at 67th. I said, no, it's at 60th. So then we're arguing and literally if you've ever been in a bicycle rickshaw, those little carts bounce around like crazy. So I'm in the back, right? Bouncing around it was just too funny after a while. I was dying. I took pictures of the guy. I was dying. And finally we got there. And I'm all I'm windblown because he was hauling ass. But I was windblown and jostled and it was 4 hours. 4 hours from start to finish. I had a headache because I hadn't eaten. I was stressed out because I was late.
God.
I literally got there late. And so literally I sat down, and the next category they called was mine.
How funny. Oh, my God.
But if you had seen me, if you had been on the rickshaw with me, Gabby, we would have had a blast. I got to pee. Do you mind if I go pee?
Go pee.
But I've got a bidet now, so it might take me a little longer.
Oh, my God.
No, I do. Hang on.
Fine. Go spritzel your tinkle and your what it nots and hoo-has and...